because this is still live human engagement. It doesn't matter that it's a computer screen when the patients come in and they check in. What matters most is that they're talking to somebody. I'm not at this point willing to jump on board with the kiosk, just kind of sign yourself in, kind of like order your own food kind of thing, but on an iPad. I'm not a fan of that. Welcome to our YouTube channel here at Meg Academy, where we strive to see you live the life that you've always deserved for yourself as a physical therapy private practice owner. So whether you're a clinical director, partner, or just a staff therapist, and you are blissfully discontent, and you're like, I'm happy doing what I'm doing, but I could do more. I know I'm genetically engineered to do more. I want to have control of my time. I want to have control of my financial future. I want to build something that I can give back to my community. If that's you, then definitely check out our website at megbusiness.com, where we can actually help you succeed in that. And part of that is doing these YouTube series. This one is Do What You Do Best and Outsource the Rest. I hope this all makes sense to you. There's going to be 6 parts here. I'm going to dive into the virtual front desk here in part 1, but I want you to go through all 6 of this YouTube series on Do What You Do Best and Outsource the Rest, because I think what it's going to do, it's going to literally give you a recipe for success. It's going to give you a model to follow, because the future of physical therapy is not going to look like the past of physical therapy. And that's the message I really want to send to you. It is time for a new paradigm shift. Absolutely time for a new paradigm shift, because reimbursement continues to go down. Regulations continue to increase. Audits are through the roof. Our audit compliance, ethics, compliance, risk management officer, I could give him a million titles, goes to multiple conferences. And when he went to the last annual conference, they said somewhere in the area of 90+% of all physical therapy private practice offices are currently being reviewed. So this isn't good. This is all the more reason why you need to clear your head. You only have so many mental attention units available to you. You should be focusing on creating the ideal company culture, creating the ideal patient experience, and building your brand and reputation within your peers in your medical community and your physical community, your people within your market. So on how they think about you and how they feel about your services and your genuineness and everything that goes about being successful in private practice. So building your brand, building your company culture, and giving the over-the-top patient care experience is what it should all be about. But you can't do that if you're running around doing your own taxes, doing your own billing, doing your own digital social media marketing, doing your own, all overseeing the front desk where you've never had any training or skills in it yourself either, to mention of. And all of a sudden it becomes a lot of randomity, just a ton of things going around and around and around, and nothing's really being done to the level of excellence that you absolutely want it to be. So outsourcing the front desk. I made a little list here, and I want to go through my list and just share with you some of the most obvious reasons why you want to outsource your front desk. But let's talk about the problem before we talk about the solutions. The problem that we are running into in 2023 and beyond is that it is very difficult to find somebody at the appropriate wage range for the work that you're asking them to do. I was recently at PPS and I had people in the room literally telling me that they're paying $25 for people just to come in for the interview. That is crazy. Like if we've come to that, like we literally have to bait people to come in to give us an opportunity to give them a livelihood. I mean, I'm just against it on principle. But Brian, people say, Brian, you could be against it on principle, but we need solutions. Like, how do we get past that? So I'm going to get into that. How you succeed in private practice is to manage your expenses in comparison to your revenue. So managing expenses in comparison to revenue, you have to tackle the number one biggest expense, which would be payroll. So I would suggest that the better you are at getting your payroll down below 50% of your overall GI, gross income, on an annual monthly basis, the more successful you will be. And successful meaning you need to have some net revenue coming into the business so you can give back to your staff, give back to your community, and you can grow your practice. It's not about profit taking to go buy a bigger boat, which, look, I'm not going to fault anybody for buying boats. But my message here is, when I say success, it's to live with greater time flexibility and greater financial freedom in order to enhance the experience of your patients, your staff, and your community. That's what I mean when I say that. I don't mean it from a greedy point of view. Your front desk is a huge issue today because of the quiet quitting, because of the millions of people who've left the workforce and aren't coming back, or people going part-time, or just people not really investing in the group mentality and the organizational mentality. They're just kind of in it for them. They're in it to win it for themselves. And this becomes very challenging when you're a small private practice with one office, two offices maybe. The average lost dollars when somebody quits and you have to retrain them, and it's an admin person, a non-clinical person, is about $13,000. If it's a clinical person, it could be on average $23,000. So one of the greatest things you can do to actually improve and enhance the viability of your practice is to stop the revolving door, is to increase staff retention. Where you have the greatest reality and the greatest connection is with your clinical staff. You guys went to school the same, you do the same thing, you have the same mission, the same purpose, the same philosophy, at least I hope, as clinicians. So I proclaim the new paradigm in physical therapy is going to be PT, DPT, PTA, and tech. I believe that the offices that move forward with just clinical staff within their four walls and everything else is a fixed rate payment, like billing, virtual front desk, accounting, bookkeeping, any of those kinds of things, it's going to help you tremendously. It's going to help you tremendously because you know what those bills are. You can budget that into your operating expense, and then you are just managing your clinical staff to give the best patient care experience possible. I think that's the future of physical therapy. I think if you look around at hair salons, back in the day, there used to be someone who signed you in and receptionist, and there was somebody who swept the floor and did the mirrors, and there's somebody who cut your hair and did whatever. None of that is happening right now. Only the beauticians are in, or cosmetologists, I'm not sure exactly the definition, the designation for them, but only the people who are cutting your hair are actually in there. They're doing everything. They go back and forth and they do it all. Your ability to create an environment where you're solely responsible for the well-being and excellence of your clinical staff, and let the professionals do your billing, let the professionals do your front desk, is going to create a greater successful environment for you than ever before. So here's some of the things that you know are going to go to the wayside once you go to a virtual front desk. And I'm just going to read my list here. You're going to be paying for no more PTO. You're not going to have to cover sick or holiday or vacations. You're not going to have benefits or comp pay or bonus pays coming to them anymore. You're going to be literally decreasing your payroll, so you're going to get more within that margin. You're going to be decreasing the personal management headaches. When you outsource with us for a virtual front desk, you get the office management of it, the statistical review of it. So it's not just a person doing your check-ins. It's not just a person doing your insurance verification. It's actually all of our behind-the-scenes staff that are actually managing that staff, because, they're people too. They need to be managed and they need to be professionally enhanced and trained. You have no training. You have no loss in production. All holidays are covered. There's no weddings you have to worry about. We've got that. You got all your insurance verification covered from a professional department during insurance verification. No more lost reimbursement due to lack of authorization, due to inaccurate input of information, everything that goes along with that. No more yearly reviews, no more performance reviews, no more pay increases. Your payroll is not going to continue to go up in this area because you're actually paying for what you use. And you're going to have great consistency. You're going to not have this inconsistency of people jumping in at the front desk. You're going to have a primary person assigned to your front desk and a secondary team supporting that primary person. Because this is still live human engagement. It doesn't matter that it's a computer screen when the patients come in and they check in. What matters most is that they're talking to somebody. I'm not at this point willing to jump on board with the kiosk, just kind of sign yourself in, kind of like order your own food kind of thing with an iPad. Not a fan of that. I'm much more a fan of actually the human interaction, the connection, the relationship building, and that's what's going to happen in your office. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, Brian, isn't this much more expensive than me just hiring my person? Not anymore. Not anymore. Now what it costs you to hire this person, train this person, retain this person, keep all the drama out of your office, cover it all, pay them, increased pay through performance reviews and annual reviews. And I don't know, if you have write-ups and dealing with all that, it costs you. I mean, there's a lot of indirect costs with that. On the average, we are going to be somewhere between either even, depending on where you are in the country, because literally I know people on the West Coast that are paying $26 an hour for front desk staff, or we're going to be within 20% of even. So Would I be willing to give up within 20% of even of this division to actually make all those headaches go away and make all of this run smoothly on a regular basis? And I have the latest and greatest software. We partner up with Virtual Sally. Their software is very dynamic, very robust. It handles everything we need it to handle. And then we focus on the staff. Again, we're not even trying to be a software company. We want the specialists in software to support the software. We want to be the specialist personnel to deliver the personnel services you deserve. So that's what our virtual front desk is. It literally stops your revolving door. You'll never have to do another interview for a front desk. You'll be extremely happy with the service you have. And literally when we did our pilot, this was interesting. We had one of our people that had been in business over 10 years and literally hit highest ever in weekly visit numbers under our virtual front desk. Our on-build reports, when we go in, and we've taken on several offices now, they'll have like 2-3 pages of things that just can't be billed out for whatever reasons. Things aren't entered right. They're not accurate. They have issues. And not to mention all the timely filing and all the lost revenue due to lack of authorizations. But they'll have all that. When we take over, within literally a month or two, we get that down to like 2 claims, maybe 2 claims on your on-build report that we just have to clean up because something didn't go right, and we fix it. So all of that goes away. That's my message to you. I want you to look at virtual front desk, much like you look at virtual billing and digital media, and we'll get into all those specialties as we move forward. But I really want you to look at that. Here's what I was mentioning earlier in this video about the hiring. When you go to hire somebody to work in your clinic, you are hiring somebody from your backyard, from your pond, from your zip code. And the pool of highly qualified people that you really want to do this work is not the greatest. It's not going to be the largest pool. And you're competing with other people in your area to actually vie for that high quality staff. That's tough. That is really difficult. We have a 5-phase recruiting process that we do: phone screens, interviews, interview days. We know how to actually have a conversation, not a negotiation, to actually close the highest quality candidate. Then we do 3 weeks of training on average before they ever get assigned to your office. All of that is included when we provide your virtual front desk. You don't have to do all that orientation, post-onboarding, advanced training. We're going to do that on a regular, ongoing basis for everybody who's servicing your front desk. So I wanted to answer that question for you about how are we more successful in bringing you higher quality staff than what most people are able to do locally in their own backyard, because we're pulling people from across the nation. We can pull the highest qualified candidates, and we have the highest degree of screening, training, and professional enhancement that I know of based on the 500 offices I've been in. It's just very regimented, and you're the benefactor of that. So there you go. I wanted to answer that last question. Sorry this went so long. I hope you guys are going to enjoy. I hope you're enjoying and will continue to enjoy this 6-part series on do what you do best and outsource the rest.